There are way too many people out there that think you need to have a huge audience to actually monetize and make money from your personal brand. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why that is a lie and why you shouldn't even aim to have millions of followers or to have a massive audience. And I know this because I personally fell into that trap that took me so long to fix. And I'm going to give you everything so that you can avoid that mistake that 99% of creators fall into when they're first starting their personal brand. I've got my markers here. I've got the whiteboard. I'm going to show you everything and I'm going to cut all the fluff. I want to preface this, and I'm not going to name drop, but I know creators who have 10,000 followers making over $60,000 a month. And I know other creators who have 1 million followers and making $3,000 a month. So with the pure statistics, we know that the amount of followers that you have does not correlate to the amount of money that you're gonna make, because it doesn't come down to how many views you actually have, but it comes down to who sees your stuff. Because when you understand who sees your stuff and when you understand who you want to actually see your stuff, you will know what they're thinking and what to actually say so that you can make an impact and get them to actually work with you and pay you. The difference between creator 1, let's say, and creator 2 is the fact that creator 1, who focuses on actually using their personal brand to make money, thinks about, how do I build my brand? A brand is all about the message, the values, and the core beliefs that your audience can relate to, because that is what you stand by. And that just creates pure connection for business. And that's because when you tap into that mindset of using your personal brand to make money, you approach it as an entrepreneur so that you're actually focused on using the right systems instead of approaching it as a creator who just wants clicks and views. Because I remember I used to get millions of views with my own content, with my own short form content, and I was still broke until I actually started approaching things as an entrepreneur to build my personal brand around specific things so that people could connect with it and actually work with me. So that's what you need to understand. First things first is that having a personal brand, if you actually want to make money from it, is not about the amount of followers that you have. The amount of followers that you have does not correlate to the amount of money that you make, okay? But the impact that you have and the way that you actually create a connection, that is what is going to determine the amount of money that you make. And that is what correlates everything back to your brand. I mean, it is literally called a personal brand, okay? You have the word brand and you have the word personal in it. Most people don't even use the core word that is in the actual model itself. Instead of focusing on the volume of the people that you're bringing in, you need to understand that volume, which is essentially the amount of people that come in, does not matter and will not convert if there's no quality, all right? And that is because, for example, if you film a video of yourself at a mall and there's a grandma that runs up to you and slaps you in the face, that video might get millions of views. But how many of those people do you think are actually going to buy into your offer and into a product that you want to sell so that you can make money of it? Probably nobody. But if, let's say, all right, you actually created a video that focused on some core values, that solved a specific problem, that showed who you are as a person to build that connection. Okay, let's say this is a magnet for connection. If you actually focused on posting a video that was valuable, okay, that actually gave somebody something to work with once they saw your video, and actually focusing on building trust in your videos, this is going to make you 10 times more money, even if you get just 10,000 views with this, compared to that video of you getting slapped by a grandma that got 1 million views. So we understand all this, okay? And you might be asking yourself, okay, well, I get this point. I get the fact that, you know, it's all about quality and not quantity. How should I actually approach that so that I can bring in quality people through my personal brand and eventually into my business? It all comes down to these 3 things. So number 1 is gonna be messaging, okay? This is all about the why behind your content. Why are you doing this, okay? Who are you trying to help? What is the actual impact that you want to make for others? Number 2 is gonna be positioning. Who are you, right? Who are you? Who are you to actually coach people on what you want to help them with. And number 3 is just trust and relatability. Have you ever heard of that quote, sell yourself, don't sell the product? That's exactly what personal branding is. It's about selling yourself as a person. So it's about telling your story and the actual human side of yourself. Like, you're more than your offer. You are more than your business. And this is something that I personally struggle with even recently, is the fact that I was just so focused on value. You gotta understand that a brand is literally just a bundle of who you are and the people who want to correlate with that. Like, people miss this so much, but it's literally right in front of you. The word personal brand has personal in it. If you don't actually showcase who you are as a human, as a person, people aren't gonna feel that connection with you. You can't come off as a robot that just gives value, that gives like tips and tricks. You need to have a real personality that people will connect with. And I actually had a client ask me about this. I ended up working with him for $3,000, and he asked me on the call, right as he told me, he was interested, but he asked me a bombshell question, which was like, why should I pick you out of everybody else? And I told him, why are you even on this call? It's the fact that, listen, you could pick anybody out there. I'm not going to deny the fact that there's other people out there who have the same information as me. It's just the fact that you have decided to hop on this call with me because you want to work with me and who I am as a person. And the way that you stand out from everybody else in terms of getting sales for your business is just building a brand that's so strong. People will only connect with you and want to work with you. So the way that you bring in quality clients, I think the best way to even do it is just to have that trust and relatability, okay? It's doing more than just providing value and trying to be an educator, but it's also coming off as a human and telling your story. I had one video in the past 30 days, the best performing video that I posted in the past 30 days was a storytelling video about how I was diagnosed with depression at 13 years old, and people connected with that. Eventually, I led it back to how it made me build that business and become the best version of myself. But the reason why it performed so well is because people connected with the fact that I was a real human. So you need to understand that social media is a space for network. It's a space for connection. It's a space for business. And when you start to understand that social media is a space for real humans to connect with each other, when you come to understand that the person on the other side of your screen is a real person, then that's when you will start tapping into the emotional side of things to truly create that human connection. Business is truly just connecting with other humans. You gotta understand the psychological concept behind it. Selling to certain people is going to be very different to selling to other groups of people, right? Just like how, for example, if I want to sell a service to a huge corporate company, I'm not going to talk to them the same way as if I were to talk to somebody who just wants to replace their 9 to 5. That's why you need to understand, as I mentioned before, who it is that you want to target, what do they actually think about, and how does that correlate to your story so that you can tap into both of these things and actually build a strong brand and a strong connection. So anyways, I do have a call right now with a client, but I'm going to be filming so many more of these, breaking these concepts down so that you can understand and apply for your own personal brand like I have for my own personal brand. So if you want to see more value like this, I'm going to be posting so many more of these videos, and if you want to see them, subscribe for more.